In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why transforming your body is much harder than you actually think, and why you actually are struggling to get yourself to get into the shape of your life and remain there 365 days a year. Because if it was simple, everyone would be doing it. But this one thing is actually holding you back from really unlocking that new body and that new confidence that you now really want. In the past, you've most probably been told to track your calories, hit a certain amount of training sessions, to most probably do a little bit of fasting, do a little bit of this, cut carbohydrates, have high protein meals, hit X amount of protein, right? And some of these things aren't wrong, and there's nothing wrong with those tricks, right? But that's the problem. They are tricks. Yes, some are needed, like knowing your calories, knowing your macros, hitting your training sessions to build strength and muscle, right? Yes, they're incredibly important. But if you're instantly going to those things, first of all, when it comes to your transformation, you are literally creating yourself to slip up from the moment you start doing them from a long-term perspective. And here's why. And the reason why you're actually causing yourself to slip up is because when it comes to transforming your body, you're trying to literally go from your current self to your new self. And your current self actually has a set of beliefs and a set of experiences that has brought you to where you currently are right now. And if you're not in the body shape you want and you're not living with the confidence you want, there's most probably a good chance of you've most probably lived with a certain set of behaviors that have caused you to be out of shape and not have the body you want. There's most probably certain beliefs around doing certain things that have caused you to be where you are right now, right? We are shaped by experiences and beliefs, and it brings us to right where we are. But in order to transform yourself down that line, you now need to shift your identity and actually now need to live as if you are your new self already, which will have a different set of beliefs, a different set of experiences, and a different set of behaviors. Because the person you will now want to become, your future self, is built on a completely different set of behaviors, which will mold your identity, right? So this is where the conflict comes into. There's you over here and there's your new self, and you're just battling constantly between one another. So most probably you've experienced in the past of like, you've had certain weeks where you've fallen off track. That's because you've not behaved in alignment to how you need to get yourself into the shape you want and live with those standards. That's your new self. And that's challenging when there's stress and pressure coming in life. So you instantly revert back to your old self, which is your old or current identity, which means you're always going to go off track when you live with those set behaviors, which is exactly why we need to understand how to go from current self to new self instantly without having the result. And you now need to behave in alignment to that. So therefore you go along this journey smoothly. But that is really important to understand, almost having like a set of rules and a set of behaviors on a day-to-day basis that you now live by, no matter if you're stressed, pressured, life's busy, or life's quiet. No matter what's going on, you have a set of beliefs and a set of behaviors you now play to, shall we say, that allow you to edge forwards every single day to your future self. Otherwise, you live within your current behaviors and identity, which is always going to keep you stuck because you always revert to those, because that's just automatic. That's been set in you for a long period of time, and that's why you're stuck right now, where we actually have to shift that and actually look at what do we need to do on a day-to-day basis in a set of behaviors that are going to drive you to that goal and live within that space there. So when it actually comes to dropping body fat and getting yourself into the best shape of your life, not just for a few weeks, but for 365 days a year, continuous, instead of going into, I need to track my calories, I need a calorie deficit, and I need a certain training program, ditch that for a second and actually start to look at it and be like, okay, where am I sat currently in terms of behaviors when I'm stressed, when pressure is high, and when life is throwing its challenge? What behaviors are actually stopping me from getting to where I want to be? As soon as you can actually identify that, you can twist those behaviors on its head, which shift to a far better behavior, right? Which then allows you to progress onto your future self, but within this moment right now, which means you're going to be in a far better spot on a day-to-day basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, in terms of consistency, in terms of result, because you now actually edge closer to your result that you now want and live with the body you want. But you're never actually going to do that if you now just go for the tactical stuff of the calorie deficit and the training plan. Yes, it's useful, but it's never going to stick if you don't actually identify what behaviors are keeping you stuck and what behaviors you now need to ditch, and also set in place what behaviors do I now need to live with on a daily basis that are going to drive me forwards towards the goal. And that's the exact way you're now going to be able to shift yourself from being stuck and out of shape to getting yourself into the best shape of your life and living in that spot 365 days a year. If you're sat there and you're like, yes, Ben, that's absolutely amazing stuff, that's actually something I need and something to address, but you're short on time, you're stressed, and you're leading a really busy life. Well, click in the link below and click on my calendar, and we can sit down completely free for 30 minutes and actually map this out step by step, that's going to allow you to have a clear understanding and tangible steps that you can literally live with on a daily basis that is aligned to you and your lifestyle, so it goes smoothly and easily, which means you're going to produce a far better result and live in the shape that you want year round with a little less effort placed into it because it's aligned to you, your life and your values.